Hello everyone, welcome to the IAS Mentor Modern Indian History series. We are continuing the colonial administration. What kind of administration or what kind of constitutional development began during British Raj? We have seen broadly from Magna Carta to till independence, broadly different type of acts, and also we have seen in detail about dual governance in Bengal. In the sequence, in this class, we have to see Regulating Act 1773 and Pittsindia Act 1784. When it comes to dual governance, in which year dual system of government was established? In 1765 with the Treaty of Allahabad. Within few years, the dangers of dual government was clearly visible. Famine took place, complete chaos took place in Bengal. East India Company almost became bankrupt. They needed a loan from the government of England. British cabinet decided to interfere in the East India Company affairs because East India Company officers were interfering in the British politics also. They got this as an opportunity that we will give you the loan, but your affairs we are going to control. We are going to regulate. This was the context in which Regulating Act 1773 was passed. We also should know what is happening in different parts of India and also different parts of world, because every act, it is not an isolated act. It is developed in the context of those circumstances. Let me explain you. This is the map. In 1765, this is the map of East India Company. Bengal, Odisha, Northern Sarkars, Carnatic region. By 1765, they were already in possession of these areas. They are called East India Company possessions. That means East India Company territories. 1765 this. Identify this. These are company territories. Now company is collecting taxes from them. They got Diwani rights. Company is also doing business. They are also doing commercial activities. They are taking the goods from India and selling in Europe. They are bringing goods from Europe and selling in India like any trader. That is what the first business of East India Company. They are now commercial body also, and at the same time political body also. But from the England perspective, if you are a commercial body, we don't have any issue. But the moment you are becoming political body, politics must be controlled by British government, British parliament. It should come under crown. But naturally, some people in the British cabinet started already countering these developments, that East India Company affairs must be regulated. But East India Company is very powerful. It can influence the cabinet decision. It can influence the parliament decision also. They were having that much money. They used to do earlier like that. That is why there were a lot of friends in British parliament and cabinet for East India Company. Those friends used to stop such kind of interference. But situation did arise in 1770s because of their mismanagement in Bengal. Officers are going there, interfering in the politics of England, and when it comes to here, Bengal famine took place, millions of people are dying, and the name of England and the English people getting destroyed because of the activities of East India Company. This is what happening when it comes to Bengal administration. East India Company is becoming poor. East India Company officials are becoming rich because of the corruption. Due to famine, people could not pay the taxes. Their tax revenues also came down. Corruption, because of corruption, tax revenues reduced, and because of the famine, taxes even further reduced. Coming to this area, now in 1760s, Hyder Ali was emerging in Mysore region. He is also imperialist person. He also wanted to expand his empire. In the process, in 1769, 68, 66, 67, 68, conflict started. First Anglo-Mysore War also started. Here also conflict. Because of this, again resources were spent. Again, East India Company is on the front of revenues, it came down. Famine reduced the reduced revenue. Corruption reduced revenue. On top of it, burden of the war. You see this? This is what happening in India. Now, when it comes to other part of the globe, British people were also having colonies. British people were having colonies in America also. But during this time period, Americans also stopped paying the taxes and they were also revolting against British. So multiple events are happening at a time in different parts of the globe. They were also. British Parliament imposed tax on them. Now they started declaring that we will not pay because we are not represented in British Parliament. We will not pay tax unless we are represented. The slogan is no taxation without representation. From this front also, British are getting affected. This is one. Now, when it comes to the England itself, this is the period of Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution started in 1750s onwards. As a result of Industrial Revolution, many companies are emerging. Many companies are emerging. But when it comes to East India Company, so far it is enjoying monopoly. So we are understanding what are the circumstances for East India Company coming under Regulating Act. One is within India, various factors. Second one, American colonies. Third one, within England itself, new economic changes are taking place. Many companies are emerging and they also wanted a share in the global market. But this market is now curtailed by the policy of monopoly because East India Company is traditionally powerful since 1600 and it is continuously getting that monopoly right. That's why it also has friends in British cabinet and British parliament. That's why they were able to influence the crown and they were getting monopoly rights. But there were enemies of this company that they also wanted share. They were looking for destruction of this monopoly rights. They also get a share. Against East India Company, these many forces are happening. These many forces are acting. East India Company also used to export tea to colonies, and because of American colonial people now protesting, because of that, their trading activities with respect to American colonies also started reducing. East India Company started facing difficulties on various fronts. In this context, they applied for a loan because they wanted to pay dividend to their shareholders. And now the cabinet and parliament took this as an opportunity. They tried to bring East India Company affairs under British government or parliament. This is where Regulating Act was passed. Coming to the provisions. So first we have understood what are the circumstances. And Pitts India Act nothing but just trying to some limitations were there in Regulating Act. Those limitations were improved by Pitts India Act. That's why circumstances are similar. Whether it is a Regulating Act or Pitts India Act, circumstances are almost similar only. Some limitations of Regulating Act are improved by Pitts India Act. These are the circumstances before 1770s. Now coming to India, the Indian political system is like this. This is Bengal. Now remember, Bengal means controlled from Fort William. These regions were under one administrator called governor, or this also known as Bengal Presidency. Bengal Presidency. And the administrator is governor of Bengal Presidency or governor of Fort William. Governor of Bengal. Before regulating act, this is the administrative position. And when it comes to this, Madras Presidency and the administrator, Governor of Madras. And this side, Bombay Presidency and Governor of Bombay. This is the situation. Now, when it comes to this area, these people were participating in Carnatic Wars. Madras governor is leading Carnatic Wars here. And when it comes to Bengal governor, Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar. They gained supremacy over other two regions. Now there is a competition within these people also, that like Bengal governor became successful in managing dual government, they were also trying to do in the similar manner. As a result, what happened? Like these people involved in Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, they were also trying to involve in the conflicts. And here Marathas are there, and here Mysore, Marathas. Getting this? This is where existing British or East India Company administration is this one. Now in Bengal, famine, corruption, here Mysore wars, unnecessary conflicts are leading to unnecessary expenditure. East India Company applied loan. Now British cabinet decided, British Parliament decided to pass a law that is called Regulating Act. What is this Regulating Act? When it comes to Regulating Act 1773, number 1, it is decided that Bengal presidency should have supremacy over other two presidencies. Therefore, this renamed Governor of Bengal into Governor General of Bengal or Governor General of Fort William. This is the Governor General of Fort William. When it comes to the first Governor General of Fort William, William Bentinck. Sorry, not William Bentinck, Warren Hastings. William Bentinck was Governor General of India. Warren Hastings was the person who was, now identify this, Governor of Presidency of Fort William. Is it clear? This is a very important prelims question. Who is the first Governor General of Presidency of Fort William? Governor of Presidency of Fort William 72 to 73. But after Regulating Act from 73 to 85, this is after Regulating Act, he became Governor General of Presidency of Fort William. Clear? That's what Governor General of Fort William. Second one. Because of this, Warren Hastings was considering himself as supreme to both Madras as well as Bombay. But on the other hand, they had the tradition of autonomy. They had the tradition of autonomy. They were not listening to him. This Regulating Act did not give clear-cut powers to Governor General of Fort William. Because of that, some confusion is also going to emerge. But this is the first step. Parliament is trying to involve here. The first step will have some limitations, but it is the first step in controlling the entire land by Parliament. Governor General. Now, this Governor General also cannot take decisions on his own. He will be assisted or advised by a council that is called Governor General in Executive Council. How many members will be there? Governor General plus 4 members. These 4 members are mentioned in the Act itself. After passing this law, these members came to Fort William. This is to coordinate with the Governor General and 4 members. But these 4 members, when they came to Bengal, they are already coming with the notion that Bengal government is very corrupt. Bengal famine, they were East India Company officials are exploiting Indians. With that kind of information, that kind of mindset they came. That is why they were not allowing Governor General to work peacefully. That is another limitation. But again, it is the first step. Somewhere it should start. This is how it started. Governor General of Fort William. Who is the first Governor General of Fort William? Warren Hastings. Important prelims question. Before Governor General of Fort William, he was Governor of Fort William. Governor General in Executive Council was created. Gradually, this is going to become, in future, this setup is going to become Indian Parliament and Indian Cabinet. Indian Parliament and Indian Cabinet. That is why the roots of Indian Constitution going back to these times. When you study polity also, you are going to study Regulating Act. By 1950, complete a new constitution, new kind of parliamentary democracy is going to establish, but the root is going to this one. Third, a court was also established. This is called Supreme Court of Fort William. Supreme Court of Fort William. All right. So now you say this. When it comes to Regulating Act, Supreme Court of Fort William, when it was created, a Supreme Court was established at Fort William in 1774. Now, when it comes to this, the Act did not give clear-cut provisions. What is the jurisdiction of this court? It was not clearly mentioned. Whether this is to give the judgments or take care of the people of Fort William, Bengal Presidency, or will the Governor General decisions also will be judged by Supreme Court? There is no clarity. Because of that, some conflict emerged, and after some time, it made it clear that Supreme Court will deal with the people. Here, people will be there, and these people, Europeans are also there, Indians also there. Initially, it was given jurisdiction over Europeans. Later, Indians also. For Hindus, Hindu laws will be applied. For Mohammedans, Mohammedan law is applied. And for Europeans, European law is applied. In that way, Supreme Court of Fort William is handling the judicial wing of this particular administration. So overall, what happened here? Now, when it comes to British Crown, under Crown, Cabinet will be there. Parliament is there. Judiciary also will be there. Now, similar kind of setup is now establishing in India. And here, with respect to India, East India Company territories. Here you have to consider East India Company territories. By 1770, East India Company did not capture entire India. Still, Maratha Empire is there. Punjab is about to become a very powerful empire under Ranjit Singh. Still, many parts of Mysore under Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan, they are having their own jurisdictions. They are having their own system. Kings used to rule in their own way. But East India Company territories are now getting a system like cabinet, parliament, and judiciary. This cabinet means Governor General in Executive Council. The same only will pass the laws. So when it comes to legislation, they will sit like a parliament. And judiciary means Fort William Supreme Court. Are you seeing how the roots of Indian constitution and Indian administrative system is emerging? This is how Indian political system. Later, East India Company territories you replace with the President of India. After India got independence, India became a republic. President of India, under President, Cabinet, Parliament, and Judiciary. Executive, Legislature, and Judiciary. Executive, Legislature, and Judiciary. Could you see how East India Company territories came under similar kind of structure like in British Parliament, British Cabinet like this? But it has its own limitations. There is no clarity over what kind of jurisdiction they have to play with respect to this also, with respect to this, and they were traditionally enjoying the autonomy. They were not listening to Warren Hastings' orders. As a result, chaos happened. Chaos happened. They entered into first Anglo-Maratha Wars. First Anglo-Maratha War, they fought in 1770s. And here also, Mysore and Carnatic government, Mysore and Madras government, here Anglo-Mysore War. As a result of this confusion only, they were also not able to defeat Hyder Ali. Hyder Ali defeated them. Here also, Marathas defeated the British company officials here. That's where they faced limitations. And in fact, they themselves were in confusion here. Governor General Executive Council was not giving a chance to Governor General to take care of administration, because the executive members came to India with mindset that Warren Hastings himself is a very corrupt person. That is why whatever decision he wants to take, they were not encouraging and they were not giving full support. And in fact, in one of the occasions, there was an intense quarrel between Warren Hastings and one of the members of Executive Council. They decided to fight also. They shoot at each other. And somehow that person got wounded. Warren Hastings was alive. That person got wounded and he packed to London. That kind of intense struggle was going on in Bengal presidency. On the other hand, they don't want to give their powers to Bengal. They saw, because of this confusion, they were even defeated in first Anglo-Maratha War, in first and second Anglo, in second Anglo-Mysore War also, the draw. There was no clear-cut victory for the British. Here you see the provisions. Each and every provision has a reason. But that provision was not able to solve all the problems, but however, it is a beginning step. Governor of Fort William became Governor General of Fort William. Governor General in Executive Council was created with 4 members. Third one, a Supreme Court was also established by Regulating Act. But there is no clear-cut details how Governor General should play a role in all the East India Company territories in India. How to handle Madras government and Bombay government, there is no clarity. As a result, they were not listening. There is no clarity over what is the power of Governor General, what are the powers and limitations of these members, also not clearly mentioned. As a result, they were quarreling, no clarity. And with respect to Supreme Court also, no clarity what is the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. As a result of this, conflict happened. After some time, they tried to resolve it. But initially, because of first step, these are the 3 important provisions of Regulating Act. Clear? 3 important provisions and 3 important prelims questions also. Now, because of no clarity, everywhere they are facing the reversals. They were losing in Anglo-Mysore War, they were losing in Maratha Wars, and in Bengal presidency also, administration is not going smoothly. They themselves are fighting, tax revenues are not coming. Meanwhile, English people here in 1770s, they declared independence. American War of Independence, they declared independence in 1776. and they have took the weapons and they were fighting continuously with British Raj. By 1783, they completely became independent. Now they became independent. Independent means what? British Empire lost these colonies. Now they lost these colonies. They are getting opportunity here. Do you think now they are going to leave this? Are they going to leave this? There is a sentence that British historians used to initially say that Indian Empire was an accident. East India Company got this empire as an accident, not as a planned conquest. So British conquest in India is an accident, not a planned one. But do you think up to regulating act, we can think it's like an accident. But after they lost American colonies, every step is going to be planned one. They lost in 1783. They have to give independence to American colonies. Now, because of this chaos, they are not able to handle the affairs in India also. Now in 1784, Pitt's India Act also passed. This Pitt's India Act the main aim is to overcome the limitations of regulating act. Pitt's India Act. After the Prime Minister Pitt the Younger, because of that, it was passed. William Pitt the Younger. He was the one. He was the Prime Minister at that time. He was a very young Prime Minister, and in fact, in the history of British up to then, he was the youngest Prime Minister. Last Prime Minister of Great Britain, 83 until 18, the first official Prime Minister of United Kingdom from 1801 and so on. He was also Chancellor of Exchequer for all his time as Prime Minister. He is known as Pitt the Younger to distinguish his father. His father was also a Prime Minister. And his ancestors were East India Company officials only. Now you see how East India company officials are becoming so rich. From their families, they are even becoming prime ministers also. All right, this one. Because of him, when he passed the law, that law came to be known as Pitt's India Act 1784. Now, what are the provisions of this? When it comes to the provisions, regulating act passed with these provisions. Now in England, these three Bengal governor, Madras governor and Bombay governor come under this is before Pitt's India Act. Crown, Cabinet, Parliament. Let us consider these two things. Parliament. Charter Act. Royal monopoly got East India Company. East India Company got this. Now, East India Company run by Court of Directors. These Court of Directors are answerable to shareholders. And what is the relationship between Crown, Cabinet and Parliament and East India Company? That is the Royal Charter. Royal Charter. Monopoly. East India Company get monopoly rights. Nobody should take away this. Otherwise, they are going to break rule of law. Rule of law must be honored. When law is there means everyone have to follow. This is the protection of East India Company. Court of Directors, they used to take care of both commercial activities of East India Company in India and also political activities. Initially, East India Company came as a commercial body only. There is no concept of political activities. Up to 1765, it is commercial activities only. But now they are getting opportunity to enter into politics also. And as a result, political activities means what? Now they are controlling revenue, military, and civil affairs in Bengal, in Carnatic region, in Bombay region. Particularly in Bengal region, it is increasing. That is where they are going for wars. They are making treaties with native rulers like Mysore, Mysore and East India Company. Do you remember what are the treaties? Treaty of Madras, Treaty of Mangalore, Treaty of Seringamapatnam. How these treaties? These treaties were part of political activities. And when it comes to Marathas and Bombay, again treaties are there. These treaties, collection of revenue, managing military, these come under political activities. When it comes to commercial activities like buying and selling, buying goods, selling goods, it could be textile, it could be silk, it could be opium, it could be tea, anything. That is what business activities one side, political activities on the other side. As the political activities are growing, now cabinet and parliament started looking East India Company that East India Company is becoming very powerful. They are afraid. Why? East India Company is involving in cabinet decisions also, parliament decisions also, because of they have their own mechanisms, their own people are there. That's why they are afraid. They were trying to take away political activities from East India Company. Let us restrict East India Company to only commercial activities. That's what they aim. On the other hand, there was intense lobbying also. Lobbying, industrial revolution, many companies, opponents of East India Company, they wanted, first of all, this monopoly rights itself should go. In 1776, Adam Smith, Adam Smith, who is considered as the founder or father of capitalism, modern day capitalism, he has written that this kind of monopoly rights are destroying the wealth of nations. If you want to build the wealth of nations, you have to destroy these monopoly rights and you have to follow free trade. Free trade. You see this, how many enemies are coming to East India Company. East India Company officials are going and entering into parliament also, influencing the decisions in the politics also. Already there is intense envy, jealousy against East India Company officials, because when they go London, they are enjoying lavish life. They are like Nawabs of India. That's why they were even mocked in their newspapers also like Nawabs. So there is intense jealousy, one angle, enemies. On the other hand, East India Company getting monopoly rights and other companies wanted their share. They want the destruction of the monopoly. Their enemies from the business side. On the other hand, from the politics side also, these political activities, if East India Company becomes so powerful, and they may affect even the British politics itself. Because Indian positions, Indian territories are much bigger than England itself. They already lost, even they are about to lose American colonies also. That's why they are afraid. But in regulating act, they just tried to reform whatever happened within India. But after they lost American colonies in 1783, in 1784, they want to reform this side also. That's why the limitations of regulating act were removed and improved by Pittsindia Act. Now, what are the provisions of it? Here they are going to remove the limitations. Governor General of Fort William will continue. Governor General in Executive Council, 4 members are there. They are going to remove 4 members. They are going to make 3 members only. As a result, if Governor General get 1 member support also, let me write this. Pittsindia Act. (1784). Now, Governor General of Fort William, continue. Governor General of Fort William were given clear-cut powers over Bombay, and Madras. One confusion removed. Second one, Governor General in Executive Council. Organization will be there, but now only 3 members. 3 members means 1, 2, 3. If Governor General get 1% support, it becomes like 2 votes. 2 votes. Governor General is given upper hand. In case of tie, if Governor General take the responsibility, Governor General law can pass. Governor General can pass the law. As a result, Governor General now got more powers in comparison with the previous law. Now you see this, the powers of Governor General increased within Executive Council also, and with respect to Bombay and Madras also, the powers increased. Even in these, Commander-in-Chief was also included so that military and civilian government will coordinate with each other. The powers, the limitations of regulating act were removed and Governor General powers strengthened. Next, third one. Already with respect to Supreme Court, there was some issue already due to no clarity over the jurisdiction that was already amended in 1781 itself. That problem already by that time resolved. Third one, with respect to England, East India Company, Court of Directors now limited to commercial activities. These political activities from East India Company Court of Directors are removed and brought under a board of control. This board of control will have membership from the cabinet. One person directly come from the cabinet. That's what the next provision. Board of control. The board of control was established. Board of control was established. East India Company provisions. You see this? The board of control contains one member directly from the cabinet. These are different people who presided the board of control. All right. So this board of control contains members from cabinet, one member from cabinet, and some other members are nominated by the crown. What is the role? This board of control take care of political activities. As a result, what happened? Board of control cabinet means cabinet is responsible to parliament. Parliament. In this way, political activities, anything, let anything happen in India, they have to, political activities must be reported to board of control. That means they are reporting to British cabinet, reporting to British parliament, reporting to the crown. Earlier, these positions are East India Company positions. Now you see, do you think it is accident or planned one? Completely planned one? Up to Pittsindia Act, up to 1784, these territories were called East India Company territories. Now, Pittsindia Act is calling these territories not as East India Company territories, but British possessions, British territories. Now, what does it mean? After they lost American colonies, they don't want to lose Indian territories also because of inefficiency in East India Company. That is why East India Company was restricted to commercial activities, whereas political activities are now coming under cabinet. The territories of East India Company were also called British possessions. This is what the planned conquest of India. From here onwards, they are going to appoint the people who ever going to expand British Empire in India. For example, in American colonial fight, American forces defeated British forces. At that time, British forces were led by Cornwallis. I will show you his image. Lord Cornwallis, he was the person. He surrendered to American forces in America. Now, when he surrendered there, he got immense experience of running the administration there, even though he failed there. Because of that failure is not considered as a failure of Cornwallis, it is considered as failure of entire British administration. But he has immense knowledge, immense experience on the ground. He was sent to India as Governor General of Bengal. And he is the one who is going to plan systematically to reform civil services, to eliminate enemies like Tipu Sultan. He is going to defeat Tipu Sultan. 50% of the territories of Tipu Sultan he is going to take. Under which law he is going to under which law he is going to rule? He is going to administer India under Pitt's India Act only. You see this? This is what planned conquest means. It is not a sudden one. It is not isolated one. It is not an accidental one. Up to dual governance, it can be considered as accident. But regulating act and particularly from Pitt's India Act onwards, it is a clear-cut plan on how to conquer India. After passing this act, they are going to choose governor generals also in such a way, in a meticulous manner, so that these leaders are going to protect British positions in India and also expand their positions in India. In that context only, after him, after this law, Cornwallis will come. He is going to reform the administration also. He is going to try remove the corruption also in the administration. In fact, he is considered as the father of Indian civil services. Do you see how planned manner they are going to change the administration of India? Our chapter is the colonial administration. This is what happening. And all these steps gradually led to final Indian constitution in 1950. This is what the British planned law, Pitt's India Act. Here, Governor General of Fort William, more powers are given. And when it comes to Executive Council, 3 members. 3 members, one member is enough to get the will of Governor General pass. Third one, Board of Control was established. As a result of this, political activities from Court of Directors were taken and given to Board of Control. This Board of Control is going to report to Cabinet. Now, Governor General of Bengal, what is the role? With respect to commercial activities, Governor General report to Court of Directors. With respect to political matters like wars and battles, treaties, revenue administration, he is going to report to Board of Control. In that way, they are going to report to Parliament. In that way, under Crown. Dual governance. Once again, they are establishing dual governance. Dual governance. One side Board of Control, other side Court of Directors. Board of Control, politico administration, and Court of Directors, commercial. So in this way, this system will continue till 1857 revolt. When revolt took place, it has shaken the foundations of British Empire. In 1858, they decided, let us wind up this. Directly Indian Empire came directly under Crown. That's why 58 onwards, Crown rule starts. Governor General terminology also becomes Viceroy, representative of the Crown. So till 1858, Pitt's India Act is going to play important role as a fundamental framework to run the administration in India. Is it clear? Both Regulating Act and Pitt's India Act. You try to see both of them together because Pitt's India Act is nothing but Improvement on Regulating Act with some more additions. I will give you the questions, answer them. Number 1. Supreme Court in Fort William was established with which act? Supreme Court of Fort William, consider, established from which law? Next, Board of Control was established by. Board of Control was established by which act? Supreme Court of Fort William was established by which act? Third one. Who is the first Governor General of Fort William? Who is the first Governor General of Fort William? Clear? Try to answer these questions in the comment box. The IAS mentor will come up with a proper mentorship schedule. You will get the details soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.